So, for one of the last videos this week about all of the awards which we've covered, we're going to talk about the Most Improved Player award. If you guys don't know, the Most Improved is an award basically given to the player which has upgraded the most in their play style each season. They are normally granted this award for improving their play, and historically, this award is normally saved for players who either take a really big superstar jump or who take some type of end of the bench or bench player to really good starter type of jump. We've seen this award be handed out, and in recent times, there's been more of an inclination to give this award to guys who used to be, good players with high expectations who then become superstars. Recently, we've seen guys like John Morant win it. We've seen a couple of other players take home the award, and some of the greats, or at least some of the best players in NBA history, have won this award for their efforts. It is definitely not an award given to a lot of superstars, but this season Tyrese Maxey leads the race as he is the best candidate, or at least the one that has the best odds right now. Tyrese Maxey this season has actually been probably the most improved player out of anyone in the past few seasons, as the amount that he's had to do as an individual for his team has actually been crazy considering what he was last season. Last season, if you guys don't know, Tyrese Maxey was the third option on his team behind James Harden and Joel Embiid. He was a great player, who got to shoot the ball really well, who got to be given chances at dribbling and playmaking and stuff like that. But he was never really the guy who you were looking for late in the game. And in the end, it cost him to gain some trust in Philly, gain some experience, but never really be able to give his all as a playmaker, as a guard, and as a contributor for his team. This season, with the injuries of Joel Embiid, with the trades that have happened in Philadelphia, and with the fact that James Harden is not there anymore, Philly has looked very sorry and extremely bruised from all of this chaos that has happened. This has basically caused the world in Philadelphia to look at Tyrese Maxey as kind of like a savior, because he's been absolutely balling out this season, averaging 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists on decent efficiency, because if we're being honest, efficiency is his biggest, challenge right now due to the fact that he has to take so many shots in a game. And the fact that he's been this good has actually surprised a lot of people. People knew he was amazing, and it was so much so that he got an all-star game this year, but people never knew that he could actually shoulder the load of being the best player on a team. Yes, Philadelphia has won very little, but when we look at Tyrese Maxey, he's done his best job at maintaining the team together and making sure that they actually can get some good wins and that they can actually get into the playoffs the way that they were supposed to. Last game, he dropped 50 points. He's been looking great. But the other guys who competed for this award have completely different stories than him in terms of their trajectory. A big thing that has surged recently is giving stars or players who were expected to become stars the most improved player when they make that superstar leap. And most people believe this is wrong, because it's like, if you were expecting a player to be great, then you shouldn't give them an award basically congratulating them for becoming great. And this is what's happening this season with Scottie Barnes, for example. Scottie Barnes is second in the Most Improved Player of the Year voting, and he has been honestly a superstar for Toronto, completely maximizing himself in terms of his shooting, in terms of his efficiency, and the way that he's played the game. And it's led Toronto to actually be really happy with the results that they've been getting. Yeah, they're not winning a lot of games, but there is something to be said about the all-star leap that Scottie Barnes took this season. Apart from that, the other most improved player of the year is Kobe White. And this one, in my opinion, is the biggest competitor for Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey has put up a run this season that has been definitely questionable in a lot of ways. He is not the most consistent player of all time, and what he brings to the floor every night when Joel Embiid has not been there has been questionable in terms of what Tyrese Maxey are we getting? Are we getting the one that's producing at the highest level consistently? Or are we getting the Tyrese Maxey that maybe is not playing as hard, is missing some shots, has some inefficiencies, and is not playing 100% through the entire game? The reason why this is because Maxey is not good at being the best player on a team. He's definitely good at scoring. He's good at being a player who can be in a winning system and be in a winning culture, but he's never been good, and you could tell from this season, at really directing a team towards a winning record. And this is evidenced by the stuff that has happened this season. You know, as soon as Embiid left and as soon as he came back, the Philadelphia 76ers have been a completely different team. And this is not to take away from his case. This is just something where, you know, I'm going off about how he's been this season. But when you look at him as a player, he's a player who's had to put himself forward and really make himself be a star, even if he hasn't had the tools to be one. I believe that his most improved player case comes down to the fact that he's been so great this season, especially for a team that was looking to tank probably after Joel Embiid went down, that it is hard not to give him the award, especially when he's putting up the numbers that he's putting up with the expectation that the team had after Embiid went down. Other guys in this conversation like Kobe White and Scottie Barnes are not really tasked to carry championship teams or contenders with this level of pressure. So that's why I feel like Tyrese Maxey definitely has a stronger case as to why he might win the Most Improved Player award. But the real question is, what makes a good Most Improved Player? Does it have to be someone who comes off the bench, gives you production, and then becomes a starter? Does it have to be a player who takes that superstar leap? Or can it be a player which simply, let's say, was drafted very low, spent a few years developing, maybe being a bench or a player who played limited minutes and then finally got to break out? This is the question that really makes the Most Improved Player a very difficult award to grade. Because if we're being honest, we all knew that Tyrese Maxey was going to be good. We all knew that he could probably have more touches and be a better player. And I don't think anyone doubted that. So giving him the Most Improved Player of the Year opens up a can of worms that poses a question of, should we give the Most Improved Player of the Year to guys who we knew were already good and had high expectations? This is something that happened with Ja Morant when he won his Most Improved Player of the Year, as people said that he didn't deserve it because people knew that Ja Morant was going to be great. And it's really changed the way that we think of this award, as now better players are being rewarded with Most Improved Player of the Year nods, and we don't know which players really deserve it because we don't know which players to give the award to when we're only focusing on the stars and not off the bench players. I believe that this season it was really a runaway award because of the situation that Tyrese Maxey has been put in. I feel like his consistency, his drive, the way that he's carried that team, and the way that he's actually been able to win some games for them. And now that Joel Embiid is back, he hasn't lost a step. He yesterday against San Antonio scored 52, and it looks like he still has that chip on his shoulder to win games and to show the world that he is a great player and that he really is an all-star caliber player with or without Embiid. So I believe that Tyrese Maxey definitely the most improved player.